Hey guys, it's Michael. Welcome back to Michael in the Morning. Today is Friday, September 25th, 2020, and this is your second stimulus check and second stimulus package update. We have a lot of exciting news to go over because the House Democrats just announced a new stimulus bill. In today's video, we're first going to go over how Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi just announced yesterday on Thursday that she tasked her committee heads to draft a new Democratic stimulus bill worth roughly $2.4 trillion, which could potentially be brought to the floor next week if a deal is not reached before then. Then we're going to go into how Speaker Nancy Pelosi and top Democrats released specific details of this bill and what is expected to be included. They're expecting direct stimulus checks, enhanced unemployment benefits, and many other aspects as well. And finally, we're going to go over how Representative Richard Neal, the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee and the person in charge of drafting this new $2.4 trillion bill, told reporters that the decision to come up with this new stimulus package and restart negotiations was in part prompted by Jerome Powell, who is the Federal Reserve chairman, who had been urging Congress to pass a new stimulus bill all week during his 3-day session with the Senate Banking Committee. We're going to go over all of that and more, but before we get started, it would really mean a lot if you could like the video down below and subscribe to my channel. It's completely free to do so, and it currently says about 50% of you watching are not subscribed. So if you'd like to stay up to date on the second stimulus check and other news updates, well then please be sure to subscribe. Also, don't forget, you can get $20 immediately when you download the M1 Finance app using the link down below, and get a free stock valued up to $1,600 when you download the Webull Investing app using the link down below as well. So, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi just announced yesterday on Thursday that she tasked her committee heads to draft a new stimulus bill worth roughly $2.4 trillion, and it could potentially be brought to the floor next week for a vote if Democrats fail to reach a bipartisan deal with the White House before then. This is huge news because it comes after Stephen Mnuchin announced that he and Nancy Pelosi have finally agreed to restart talks on the second stimulus package. Pelosi said Thursday at a news conference that she expressed hope that there would be another round of talks, but she gave no indication that the Democrats would bend on their stance of the total $2.2 trillion price tag that she had put as her limit on the bill. So ultimately, this bill that they are drafting up is a sign that they are not willing to go down in the total price tag, because this bill is actually $2.4 trillion. Representative Richard Neal, head of the Ways and Means Committee, is leading the charge in drafting up this new bill. He said the package is roughly $2.2 to $2.4 trillion, representing the last figure that Nancy Pelosi had offered the Republicans, and that it could receive a vote in the House by October 2nd, when the House is scheduled to recess for elections. He said they're not going to be going home, and now they're going to set the vote for October 2nd. Moving on, Nancy Pelosi and top Democrats released specific details of this $2.4 trillion stimulus bill yesterday on Thursday. According to sources, this bill is set to include enhanced unemployment benefits, direct $1,200 payments to Americans, payment protection program small business loan funding, aid to restaurants and airlines, among many other provisions. This bill comes as there's been growing pressure from Democrats and moderates who demanded additional stimulus relief before lawmakers leave Washington next week to campaign for re-election. A lot of top officials have been worried that a deal has not been passed yet because they promised people in their areas that there would be another stimulus package, and they don't want to go home and start campaigning without this deal passed. So this is good news for all of us. During a private meeting yesterday on Thursday, Pelosi told top Democrats they are still striving for an agreement, and if necessary, they can formalize the bill by voting on it on the House floor. Even though she's not willing to come down a whole lot with the total price tag, she said the ultimate goal is still to get more direct relief in the pockets of tens of millions of Americans. The measure being drafted is substantially smaller than the $3.4 trillion package in the HEROES Act that the House approved in May, but it is expected to contain some of the same elements, as well as some additional funding elements that Nancy Pelosi has said has emerged in the last couple of months, such as direct support for airlines and restaurant industries. Nancy Pelosi had previously vowed that the House of Representatives would not leave for the November elections without additional action on a second stimulus package. So this is definitely a good sign that they are getting a bill drafted up and proposed today or early next week. Ultimately, Representative Steny H. Hoyer of Maryland, the majority leader, said after the meeting where Democrats discussed how they are going to move forward with this $2.4 trillion bill that we're really focused on trying to get a negotiated deal. The reason being that a message bill is one thing, sending a message to other lawmakers, to the people, but we want to get something signed so it can actually help tens of millions of Americans and get direct stimulus checks in the pockets of the American people. And finally, Representative Richard E. Neal of Massachusetts, the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee and the person in charge of drafting this new bill, told reporters yesterday that the decision to compile another package and work to restart negotiations was in part prompted by Jerome Powell, who in a 3-day meeting with the Senate Banking Committee had pressed repeatedly for more stimulus measures to be passed by Congress. Between the fact that the jobless claims continue to rise, because we saw unemployment claims unexpectedly rise for last week when they were reported yesterday, and funding for supplemental unemployment benefits begin to lapse, airline industry executives have been lobbying hard for money to stave off a widespread number of job cuts, and the restaurant sector is getting increasingly nervous about losing even more business when it starts to become too cold for people to dine outside. He explained how now is the time to get a deal done. Representative Stephanie Murphy, a Democrat from Florida, told reporters yesterday on Thursday that she is hopeful that this will get Republicans to the table to deliver much-needed aid to the American people. She said, shame on them if they can't come to the table when we have consistently been working on a new bill to give much-needed resources out to the communities and millions of Americans. This comes after a 3-day meeting with Jerome Powell and Stephen Mnuchin, where they have consistently been urging Congress and others that they want more stimulus passed. Jerome Powell explained how the risk of not passing more money is huge and that people will go through their savings or ultimately have already gone through them. They'll cut back on spending, lose their homes, and while this risk may not be showing up now, this poses a huge risk moving forward. So anyways, that is just a quick update on the second stimulus check and second stimulus package. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to get $20 immediately when you download the M1 Finance app using the link down below, and get a free stock value up to $1,600 when you download the Webull Investing app using the link down below as well. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like the video down below, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.